Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk. I'm your host, Joe, with Coinigy, joined by the wonderful Mr. Brian Beamish from therationalinvestor.com. What's up,
Evening.
Brian? How we doing?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you? Remember, my ear's plugged up, so I have a hard time. You got to really yell at me. Hey,
I
Beamish,
will.
wake up, old man.
I'll try, yeah. Brian's dealing with a nasty ear infection, so we'll be a little louder for you.
Thank you, thank you.
Awesome.
Anyway, let's see what we got here. Quinn Zoto says stuck like the algo. No idea what that means. All right.
Well,
Anyway, I think how many people? Oh, we got 20. How many people? One person watching. There you go. I guess Quinn,
I
we're
just threw it
speaking
in
to
the
you,
lounge.
but we do have three thumbs ups, so that's always a good sign. I'll refresh the page maybe. Hey, look at that! Yeah, we jumped up to 5. Hey, awesome.
There we go.
One of these days we'll hit prime time.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's the goal.
How many views are you seeing on a regular basis on the Coinigy site, like over time for these videos? Do you see
We're
many?
getting about like 300, 350, I'd say,
Oh,
up
that's
up to
good.
400
Well,
on them.
hopefully the good message is getting out. Hey, there's
I
a
think
couple
so.
of our
Hopefully,
regulars.
seeing those prices of Bitcoin there, uh,
Oh, what has Yodo done? Has it gone crazy?
show off Yoda. I saw that.
There was a coin on the Solana network that we were talking about on the site today.
Yeah,
So that was Yodo. I don't know what it's done, but anyway.
starting to, Michael says. Hello,
Right.
Constantine.
Yeah, it was pretty good looking levels that were coming in across the market here. So, if you know what to look for, this is uh, this is our playground. It's our time to have fun in the market. So we've been
Yeah.
waiting damn patiently for like literally. I did a year. I did these videos. Geez, I guess a couple years ago, right into that peak. And I remember one of the show co-hosts that I did it with at the market top, and Mark and Brian going, "Don't buy. We're just gonna have to sit on our hands, count your profits from the previous cycle." And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna come back when we get back into easy mode." Guess
Yeah.
what, folks? We're finally back into easy mode.
Yes, sir.
And I hope you guys are making some pretty good money at it out there, because holy crap, things are flying.
We've been banging out doubles
Oh my
here.
goodness.
So selling half
Doubles
on
and triples
doubles.
and doubles of doubles and quintuples, and actually there's even one of these AI coins. I've been kind of negligent because I've got a whole bunch of these cryptos on this ledger thing, and we're trying to do it all DeFi, and it's such a headache to do this damn DeFi. It's like, I think it's like literally quadrupled from where I bought it, and I'm still trying to figure out how the hell
That
to sell
Fetch
it.
AI FET has been going parabolic the last.
Yeah, I think you were telling me that some of the AI names you're following are going a bit crazy, right?
Yeah, that was one that I saw was it's up like 44% now. 18
Yeah,
last
our
4 hours.
TRI CTO, he manages a crypto portfolio of some serious size, and he put some serious money into RNDR at basically nothing. So
That's gone. That one's looking real nice right about
he's
now.
basically the leader in the space as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure there's probably other people in crypto that would argue that, but I think RNDR is the leader.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Omar
it just broke
God
out to a new
Shiva
high.
twice.
So
There you
I
go,
was
Omar. Congratulations. I love to hear that.
Shad Shiba. Yeah, Shiba's been paying us big time. Holy crap. Yeah. And also dog money. And actually, somebody was even telling me, and keep in mind, like a good idea is a good idea is a good idea, right?
Yes, sir.
So if there's one person that's found a good idea at TRI, odds are half the damn site is loaded up on the damn thing.
Yes,
So
I picked up on that. I've
yeah, well,
been
and
in a
also
whole.
too, like a lot of the names that you and I talked about, a lot of them have taken off here. And if Adam comes in here, you'll see Adam later on. He's just making out like a bandit right now. And it just goes to show, if you know how to play the game, you play the game correctly. You can make more money than you ever dream of working some stupid 9 to 5 job, or I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of money that you can make. But you just
Yeah.
got to know how to play the game. Somebody get a soundbite of that. Geez, if it, Joe, tell your higher ups, take a soundbite of that, and we can show you the numbers. The numbers speak for themselves. Um, if I'm here to try and help you all learn how to play the game. You play the game correctly, it's actually difficult to lose money. I know
Yeah.
it sounds crazy, but it's true.
Here to
Like,
make a positive difference in the world.
yeah, well, that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know
Yes,
whether
sir.
it's working or not, but what the hell? I suppose this is a good way to, we all get a little bit of time on this planet, right? And if I was going to look back on how I spent my time on the planet, and in this life, I should be proud of the work that I've done, and I think we're doing good work here. But
No doubt.
unfortunately, it does mean you have to put up with me because I'm a bit of a character, right?
It's nothing but enjoyment, Brian.
Nothing but I gotta tell you, Joe is a fantastic host. I hope you guys all got to watch that live broadcast we did a couple of weeks ago. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great
Uh,
to have you down here, and it was great to finally meet you in person there. So,
yeah.
I've been doing the show for almost coming up on a year now, so
Has
it
it
was
been a
awesome.
year? Has it been that long,
I think
eh?
not quite, maybe 9, 10 months now
Yeah.
when we started it, but yeah, it's uh been one hell of a ride in the last year, just seeing where the markets were, even back to last February when you were making those videos for Coinigy, doing the
Yeah, all of our
cross theory and
projections
stuff,
of
and just seeing where those numbers are now. It's pretty
yeah.
awesome to see it, watching those back. But what do you say? Let's jump into it.
Sure,
And
sure.
everyone, while I got your attention, please remember to like and comment on the video. It really helps us out to get those viewers out there. So
Yeah,
we
especially
appreciate
I
that.
suppose we're doing this on the Coinigy. I suppose I don't know whether I can do this or not, but I'm probably gonna break the rules. But here's the video. I don't know whether that creates an endless loop in it. Yeah, it probably does, right?
Well, if you
But
scroll down there,
that's the Coinigy page there. So yeah, be sure to like that and subscribe.
and on that video, in the bio, you do have links to the rationalinvestor.com and their YouTube channel. So
Good, good.
check them out as well. It's in the bio of all of these videos.
Yeah, there's
But
our fun web page. And we'll have a new school intake in geez, probably I guess 2 months or so. So if you want to, as I said there a few minutes ago, you want to learn how to play this game correctly, come in and join our school. You can come and just read testimonials of all the past students. That pretty positive feedback. I think that's where we do a good job here. So feel free to join us as well. I suppose we should probably do the Coinigy, what do they call this, X now platform, but this is the TRI. If you want to follow us on X or social media, so at TRI_PMA. That's for the site, and I got to tell you, it's a fantastic material that is put out on this, sort of just generally good market information. Then, of course, if you want a nice, salty, gnarly old trader dude commentary on the market, not really very politically correct. I will tell you that right now. If you have a tepid stomach for political incorrectness, do not follow me. But if you want a very real look at the world, the guy who's traded for over 35 years now, and been following along the markets in earnest as a student of the markets for a very, very long period of time. Maybe consider following me there on Twitter as well. So, sorry, I don't know whether I cut you off there. I'm sorry, Joe.
no,
I went off on a
please.
bit of a tangent there. But long and short of it here is, and actually, I did this with your predecessors, Will and Rob, and I've taken up the same challenge. This was when we were doing the Coinigy shows in 14, 15, 16, 17 cycle. The challenge was to take $500 and turn it into $100,000. And the day that I did that, I was all proud of myself and sort of declared victory. And we've decided to do it again. So what we need from Coinigy is you guys got to start following these Solana names and stuff.
I'm in him. I'm
So,
on there. I'm on the site.
oh,
But
good.
we
All
need to
right.
get that
So
in on Coinigy here. We
yeah,
need
I mean, we got to get Coinigy
block.
on board. I don't know whether Coinigy can do this kind of stuff, but here is a double that I just banged off here
Yeah.
today
I will.
on this GUAC. But we got to get us off of Bird Eye and back on to Coinigy.
Yes,
So
sir.
we got
You
to
know,
tell your
I've talked
higher
to our
ups.
developers. It is apparently pretty difficult to getting the coding
Is
for
it? All
trying to
right.
like integrate those DeFi exchanges because they don't exactly have the white papers and
Okay.
documentation, but we're working on a workaround,
All
right? It's
right.
something that we are actively looking into.
Awesome. Because I tell you, this is a DeFi wallet here that was funded by the community with $500 to do the challenge. So they funded me with $500, and just even through this recent move up here, somebody also gave me an NFT that's worth like a few $100s as well. But this site doesn't actually show exactly what your portfolio is worth because it doesn't incorporate all your open orders. It shows you what your open orders are and the amount of money that's sitting in there locked up, but it doesn't quite show that exactly. But the point of the matter here is the challenge is well underway. So I've already doubled the account value, and this doesn't even actually some of my favorite names in the Solana network. This site doesn't even really show, so it's not a totally accurate picture. But the long and short of it here is, you can see based on just this valuation alone, the account is twice what the funding was, and I fully expect this to go up into the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars through this cycle as well. We'll just do exactly the same challenge. And I'd love to be able to show this through these Coinigy shows. This should be a really, really good example.
I
So
agree.
uh, I've cast the gauntlet for Coinigy. Let's see if we can do what
See what we
these
can do.
DeFi sites are doing.
Yes, I would love that. But in the meantime, we do have a handful of names from the audience
Sure.
uh, out there. I've looked into some. We got some on the lower end of a trading range, which I know those are Brian likes. Brian's a self-proclaimed cheap ass, quote
What?
unquote.
What? Who? What? What? What
So
did you say?
I have looked. I don't know as much the fundamental on some of these, but let's start out with PSY.
All right. I'll type it in here. PSY. Now, where do we go?
And then let's see on Gate.
GTIO.
Yes. And then to USDT.
Is this the same PSY that I bought on Solana? Is that possible? Could it be
Um,
listed on the same? Oh, yeah, that looks like the same chart. Let's
if you
see.
scroll back, it's even better. Is
I just want to see whether it is. Just give me a second. I bought this thing recently. What's this thing called? Pay options. I don't know whether this is the same thing or not. PSY.
let's see what the price is at.
This says it's what does that say? 0.009 and change. Actually, you can see I'm almost coming into a double there on that one. So let's see if this is the same thing. 0.0087. Well, it's close. The chart does look similar, eh?
Yeah.
So isn't that interesting? Well, that's good to see.
Yeah. If
I
you
don't
zoom
quite
out,
understand how half of this stuff works, but I get the impression that PSY could potentially be listed on the Solana network. Does that make sense?
yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Anyway, this looks like it's PSY versus USDT, and it basically looks like the same chart.
Yeah.
So my hunch is the person who asked about this probably is a TRIer, and they're probably long, and they're like, yeah, I just, I just want to get Brian to talk about how awesome of a trade idea this is.
Fair enough.
So, geez, I guess this thing's got a way.
That's why I said I was like, this one's on the way.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you want to make any money from trading? This is why we talk about why we even bother getting involved in this space. I mean, what are these numbers? Actually, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. There we go. But how the hell does this work? I want to go from 0 here all the way up, but it's not going to work, is it? That's too bad. Regular. Okay. So, just out of curiosity, if we do trade back up to it, we'll be generous. We won't even call a new all-time high. We'll just say that it trades back to these candle body highs here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness, this year is driving me crazy. So could very easily see wicks and tails like to be eaten. So let's say that that's our ultimate objective. How many X's is that just from where we are now?
A lot of them.
Yeah, holy moly, eh? And I think you even said that there were names that you heard of in the crypto space that were rallying like 10,000% or something
Yeah.
crazy ass number like that.
Yeah. And
So you can see there's a whole bunch of trapped bulls sleeping on the couch over here. And probably also in these wicks here, but definitely in that wick. Somebody got suckered into buying this, and if we do actually ever revisit this area, you know that they'll want to get out, especially like that level and that level. And even if you said, okay, well, I'm going to target this window, but really, I would, my strategy here is to always be long. So I would never exit everything completely. But I think you know how I approach the market. Slightly
yes,
different
sir.
than everybody else. So what is that? That's 3,300% and maybe like 2,300%. Is that not right? So
Yeah.
what is that? That's like
That's
30x? Is that what that
yep.
is?
30x right there, just to give you.
So I don't know. You go throw $500 into that. 10x would be 5,000. 30x would be like $15,000, right? So that throw $500 into something and it turns into $10,000, $20,000. I could see that happen. That's how that is first and foremost how I did this funny little challenge. And a lot of people that read this after the fact, they go, "Oh, there's no way you could do that, right?" But hell, I mean, I did it with Will and Rob. Both we did the videos, so it's the exact same logic. There's no difference here. So, do you want to make some money from trading? The key in this game is you gotta somehow like avoid like the plague coming into the market at the top of the market. So, in a name like this is absolutely everything that I do. So, what is the name of the zone that I like to buy in? I think.
Reload zone.
Um, Actually, we could do a couple different strategies. We'll work with this here to give some upside targets. So we'll go something like that. And then we'll do another one with the reload zone, and that's specifically as the 61.8 fib to the 78.6 fib. I do like to call the 78.6 to
BFF.
88.6 zone like the venture cap reload zone.
Yeah.
Um, if you can sneak in between 78.6 and 88.6, doesn't look like I have it on here though, does it?
No, I don't
I
think
will just
so.
do a new one. 0.886.
You gotta do point.
Um,
One's gonna be way up there. You didn't put in the point
oh
before.
yeah, there you go. All right. So, yeah, what a big surprise. And then you can see where the bottoms come in here. So, yeah, really shouldn't surprise us. Brian's going to get bullish down here. Then,
Yes.
as a sort of a fun thing, because try and think that markets usually want to look like triangles and a bottom. Usually looks something like that, where you get like dump, rally back, pull back, rally back, pull back, rally back, and then boom. Right? And you could make the argument, this is a reload zone right in there. And then this is a reload zone right in there. And hell, you can't even, this is a reload zone right in there. And if you can get these overlapping reload zones, oh my goodness, they're such great trade levels. So you can kind of see the same thing. Here's the reload zone off of the really big range. And then we could do another one, say from here down to here. So there's the reload zone. So the market comes all the way back down, into the reload zone. Then you could do it again. Market comes back down after this big pop into the reload zone. And look at that beautiful little W right down in there. Just so perfect. So, and what I did here, this was an interesting one, was I saw the double bottom breakout here, right? And hopefully you can see this triangle. So if we just do this, you can just keep it really, really simple. Yeah, we'll even do it off of there. That's fine. Hopefully you see this and you see this. It's the same logic. Not really a hell of a lot of difference. Something like that. So usually the rule is that the market likes to break about 2/3 the apex of this triangle. So maybe that's supposed to be like that or something. I don't know.
I make note of that.
So, yep, that's probably a good thing to remember. Tell all your MBA guys. Remember, 2/3 the apex of the triangle, that Beamish guy says. So, well, on balance, that's not a bad forecast. Somewhere in there. And maybe this needs to be a little bit further. I don't know. Anyway. So, what I like to do is let this thing break out. And if I can get a scenario where I can... I'll let the market break out, then I'll let it pull back. And if I can work my order off of this level right in here, that's sort of a test of the double breakout or double bottom breakout level. I'll be more than happy to buy that every day of the week. So this is basically where I'm long. I mean, I can show you off that Solana chart. That's basically what this trade is right here, right? That double bottom breakout and the pullback, and you can see there's my little buy. So, that's if you want to learn how a professional buys and sells the market and plays the market, and it's not really necessarily that I'm a professional. I mean, I don't know whether I'm a professional or an amateur. I don't know. When do you officially get the license that you made the transition? I don't know. But I can just tell you from playing this game for a million years, this is the way you're supposed to play the game. And, if you can get this W within a W within a W within a W, reload zones within reload zones within reload zones, the statistical odds of this idea working go up dramatically. And more importantly, what is a double from buying this level right here? That's right there, 100% return. That's a double of your money. Yeah. So what's the statistical odds of this thing trading back to that level there sometime over the next few years? If I come in here and I buy down here, it's not unrealistic,
No, probably pretty high.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did for fun, I threw on our chaos levels. And if W is actually confirmed, then that means that the market has actually confirmed these chaos levels. You can see down, up, down, breakouts. So that W has confirmed. So the odds, 2.618, there's sort of our knee-jerk move. I would say the odds of us trading back to this 2.618 level are extremely high. So if I can buy here, which I did, I showed you on that Solana, and I can work my sell half on a double order into this level, I'm made in the shade. So that's big. And where can this thing ultimately go? 4.669 is going to be into these guys. And, as I said earlier, the way you lose money in this game is you go and you buy up here. And really, I might even argue you buy up here. You look like an absolute idiot. Then you're like, okay, phew, okay, I'm not so bad right now. Then it's, back to the doghouse. Then, look how smart I am. Then back into the doghouse. Then, back to break even. Then back into the doghouse. Then look how smart I am. Then back into the doghouse. Then look how smart I am. Oh, look how stupid I am. Oh, my God, now I'm a total idiot. Oh, my God, now my wife won't sleep with me, blah, blah, blah. So, you even want to try and avoid buying here. You want to try and concentrate on, if you can, these reload zones within reload zones within reload zones. This is the way you play this game to win, because what this is saying here, all these revisits of this particular level and the market just not busting to new lows, what this is saying is some fat cat comes in here and he keeps defending this level. Right? I'm going to take this thing to zero. And some guy goes, no, you're not. Get your ass out of here. We're going to come in. We're going to take this thing to zero. And the fat cat comes and says, no, get your ass out of here. Get your ass out. And eventually, the guy who's driving this thing down, he just runs out of ammunition. And all of a sudden, the damn market just takes off going the other direction. So, those are, you could teach a whole course just on this one image.
Perfect.
So I don't know. I mean, I suppose you could justify buying that level because that is a double bottom breakout there. But Brian, what did you say? Brian's a what? What was that affectionate term you used for me?
Brian's a self-proclaimed. This is my word. I preface
That's
that
how
with
you save your
Brian's a
ass.
self-proclaimed.
I thought I was a self-proclaimed fan of ranch. Anybody, if you have never been to Oregon before, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
because I had never heard it before. But I've been
ranch
to
on
Oregon,
pizza.
I've lived the Portland life, and now I'm a fan of ranch.
Ranch on pizza. It'll change your life.
Anyway, so Brian's a cheap ass. So as a result, is Brian going to be really enthusiastic about chasing this up market here? No, it sucks, but it's just brutal reality. If I was going to buy, and the sad thing is, right, is you can even just draw a simple trend line. And that right there, folks, that's your primary trend line. So look at this, right? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So, just as I went through that whole thing, reload zones within reload zones within reload zones, well, why not do it again? You can take it all the way down there. Probably I would even just go there. And notice there's my 78.6. And what a surprise. That's actually basically where I'm long from right now.
Yeah.
Could the market just one day, because, somebody says something stupid, like, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to the moon because this time it's different. Oh, don't say that, you idiots. And then back down price goes. I mean, it's just crazy, this silly business. But could you have just one day this thing dips down into that reload zone, gives you your fill, and then continues on its way? You could see it's done it a few times. There's no reason why it can't happen again.
Yeah.
You know what this is all about? 2 words. First word starts with a P. Second word starts with a D. What do you think those 2 words are?
Price divergence.
No.
E
Think trader psychology.
doubt.
How about patience?
Patience and
And
discipline.
discipline.
Yes.
If you want to make money at this game called trading, you have to have patience and discipline to let your setup set themselves up. And you have to do what makes you money in the marketplace. In fact, I don't know if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this over here. I had a great example of one. You heard somebody earlier say Yodo. I can't show you it here. Do you mind if I show you it on this Solana chart?
Go for it.
Right. So this Yodo is really, really good example of this. And it's like happening, as we speak.
I couldn't get in on this. The Jupiter wasn't working for me. I was looking at that earlier.
So this was all the same logic that I just talked about. Nothing changes here. I wanted to be long off of this level, my 78.6 fib. Can you see that number there, 78.6? And so I threw my bid in at that level, and the market was moving up here, and I had no idea what's going to happen. But look at what they did. They just doinked it right into my level, and then just now taking it right back up. Isn't that incredible how that happens?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's unfortunately you have to learn to be like a successful trader. Is you gotta, you can't chase up here. You gotta work your bids at appropriate levels and be patient and disciplined, right? And really, as you can see on a number of occasions, I don't like that color. Do it the other one so you can see it. There we go. So this thing comes right back to this trend line. So why couldn't it do it again? There's no reason why I can't do it again. Anyway, I don't know. Did we talk this one into the ground?
I think so.
I mean, as
Let's
you can
we got
see, if I have just a little pop higher here, I'll get my double. Once I get those free coins, I don't really care what happens afterward. If anything, I'd almost prefer just to download them to some sort of USB device and come back and look at this thing in the fall of 2025. This stupid thing might be $100 a coin. You never know in this crazy game. I'll
it's
tell
a
you that much by
wild,
crackers.
wild west right now in crypto. But
Uh,
next
I don't
one,
know. I don't know whether
well, I wouldn't say
I
the
don't.
wild, wild west, but with some of this DeFi stuff, you got some degens coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah, I would say that the DeFi crypto space is a bit of wild wild west. So and also too when people get into this NFT stuff, because really all you're doing is just buying a URL. So it's everything about just sort of hype and pump and you know who's the cool kids. Even in the technology space, there's sort of like the cool kids lunch table and the nerds, the social outcast lunch table. Of course, that's where I'd be eating my lunch, right? So I was never invited to the cool kids table. So
You don't want to be we don't want to be there anyways.
and actually, I haven't even seen Crypto Cobain. Has anybody seen him anymore? He's kind of disappeared. He was like 2 cycles ago. He was like
I
the cool
remember
kids,
him.
cool kid, right? And the biggest compliment I ever got, and one of the kids in the crypto space was like, "Hey, at least he talked to you." But one of the biggest compliments I ever got, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to swear on this thing, but I said something like, "This Cobain guy's hilarious," and he turns around and he goes, "Shut the fuck up, Brian." and this other guy goes, "Hey, that's a compliment. At least he said your name, you know."
Yeah, that's funny.
So that's as close as I get to the cool kids table. They actually know my name, but they still tell me to shut the fuck up.
That's
Anyway, moving on.
anyway, so we
Long and short
do.
of it here, if you can pick up some of this, you'll probably make some money. I mean, I don't know how high this thing's gonna go, but I would not be surprised if at the end of this, I said like $100. I don't think so, but I could very easily see by the end of this cycle, and this would make sense, right? This is kind of like how dog money acted the last cycle. It bumped along at like fractions of pennies forever, and then into the cycle peak, it topped out at what, like 75 cents or something like that.
And when
So
your
I
friend
could
Alan was
very
talking
easily
about it,
see an exact same scenario like that. So into your 25, 26 cycle peak, this thing's running up to 50 cents or so. And if you loaded up the boat, did a whole bunch of reloads, had multiple cars on your car carrier, you could make a pretty big, pretty nice penny, right? On a name like this into that cycle peak. It's very possible. It's why we
so
play this venture cap game. And the point here is we're finally back into the window where we can play this game again. So make hay while the sun's shining, folks.
yes, sir. Next one up, we had Ape Coin. So
Ape, is this an
Ape,
NFT play?
um,
Or is it an actual coin?
probably.
Where do we want to look at
It's
this thing?
an ERC governance and utility token within the Ape ecosystem.
Hmm.
So it's a Web3. It's building at the forefront of Web3. But let's check it on Coinbase, CBSE.
CB. Oh, C. So C. What's C? CBSE, this one here?
Yep. And then let's just do USD or USDT, one of the two.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think it matters.
Should be interesting to
Oh,
see the difference. Oh, hello. Well, there's a big. What letter of the alphabet's that?
that's a nice W
There's a really good example of what we're supposed to be looking for. And actually, I can even see a W within this bigger
in a
W.
W.
It looks like. And let's see where this thing's come from. Oh, that's a pretty chart. Look at that beautiful little W. And actually, what a great analogy. You can see how all the moving averages on the confirmation of this W. Right, take a screenshot of this, folks. This is a really good TA lesson right there. So you notice how all the W comes in and it confirms with all the moving averages now below price. So there's
Mm-hmm.
literally nothing standing in front of this thing. And as a result, what does price do? Where there's no notice here, W's market's moving up and bang, it runs right into this 200 SMA, stalls out and has to work its way back down, eh? So if you can get this kind of W pattern that happens where the moving averages are nowhere in sight, you can kind of see that it happened here, eh? Where it got above these two moving averages, and this one was a million miles away. So, but this is even better because now you don't even have the 200 SMA. And sure enough, look how it's just grinding its way higher here. Also, too, what I would say is really good, since we're on the topic of moving averages. Have you ever heard me talk about the 13 EMA and the 30 SMA and the
Yes,
way
sir.
those two moving averages interact? So you can see this thing was basically a bear pretty much all through here. I guess it really kind of broke right there. That's probably this big M confirming and stuff, and just big bear puke out.
Big
But
time.
notice, look how they've turned back bullishly here, and that's right on that W. So very, very powerful message. This is probably a bull as long as these two moving averages stay positive like this. Probably also too. This would be a good example of a Wyckoff check. So,
Mm-hmm.
this is a market structure change. We've gone from making lower highs and lower lows to now making higher highs and higher lows. And just what you saw here this past week, this is a Wyckoff check where the market just simply comes back down. We had that little bit of a puke out there in Bitcoin the other day. But because the moving averages are just so insanely bullish here, there's no way that's like the new bear market, right? This
Mm-hmm.
if this is going to turn into a bear, look how long this top took to develop and for it to actually roll over and start making lower highs and lower lows. So this, if anything, have you ever heard me use the expression pullbacks or buying opportunities? So
Mm-hmm.
as long as you see these moving averages looking this way, pullbacks into the moving averages are your buying opportunities. So I don't know whether I'd be really in a big hurry to call a top here. We could probably also apply all of our sort of chaos theory logic. So 4669, 2.618, 877s. I'll keep it relatively simple here. All right, so this is the linear study. We could also do this log scale, but for the purpose of this, we'll just do the linear. And you can see 4669 is going to be nothing more than a revisit of these highs. And that makes sense too, because notice there's the original bearish structure. So this thing's really a bear as long as it's below this level right here. And you can see the market tried to come back and was rejected, tried to come back and was rejected. So, doesn't surprise me. Get up into this area. We're going to have a real sort of chaotic time here. And you can probably also make the argument 2.618, just as this market structure, this also is a market structure fail level. So 2.618, we get up into this area. You're probably going to see some back and forth against that level, and really it's that market structure and also this market structure right in there. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense why you'd see that. And then, as I said, if it can break out through here, what probably happen is you'll have a debate. Like the market will debate whether it is still valued in, like right now, it's had a war here, and the bulls have won. So this is a trading range. Trading range was resolved bullishly. So now the market is like in this range. And the question ultimately will be, if you don't see any stop at 2.618, then odds are we're going to just go cranking straight up into this battle zone.
Mm-hmm.
And probably also too, we could do things like retracements. So something like there, and then we'll go like that, and then get rid of that stuff. And we will put on 786, 61.8, or 88.6, 38.2. Nope, that's not that. There. There we are. So, also notice, look at that. 38.2 also lines up with that 2.618, right? So, yeah, it makes sense. There's probably going to be a nice fight in here. If the market can accept above this level, then you'll have a new zone that's a playground. And it'll just bounce between 4.669 and 2.618. And I've seen sometimes market will just say, screw that, Brian. We're heading straight north. And it kind of makes sense here. You know, you got that horizontal support and resistance level, that one, this one up here. There's probably also some other stuff in here, and there's that 877.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes, the market will just go screaming straight up into here. And you might even argue that this is kind of what Bitcoin's doing right now, pressing up against its old highs after just absolutely insane straight move up. So, my hunch is that these are the brackets that the market's trading in right now. So if you're in this one right now, it's having this debate. Right? So between the original breakout level and the 2.618 and the 38.2, sometimes, sadly, right, I call this the first stop target. Sometimes it's the only stop. We rally up into 38.2s and they reject it back down. So you don't know what's going to happen here. I always say don't get into the business of predicting the future. You want to react. That's probably more in your interest. And
Mm-hmm.
if you see behavior that you've seen in the past, and you know that, hey, if this happens, i.e., a big fat W comes in the market like you see here, that more than 60% of the time the asset's going to move up versus it moving down. And, there is WD GAN floating there at 50%
50%.
rules. We know that that's like statistically a very normal thing for markets to do. So, if you're trading, leverage more than 5% risk of your portfolio, then that means you're going to have to use stops. And that's the whole point of hunting W's, is it gives you sort of a risk framework to frame your entry. Going to buy the breakout of the middle of the W, and going to risk to a break of the bottom of the W. And really, in this scenario, what we're asking for is, if I do buy this W, is it statistically in my best interest to take this trade? And at like 1.9 to 1, basically that means that if I buy this, if I get stopped out, I lose $1. But if I goes to my 50% level target, I make $1.90. And if you have a system that spits out those kind of numbers 60, 70% of the time, I mean, you just did, if you want as a fun experiment, just map out, write down like 20 trades
Mm-hmm.
where 60% are like, 13, 12, if you will, produce $1.90 in profits, and 8 or 7 of the trades you lose $1. You tell me whether you're profitable at the end of the day. And this would be a trader's life. To keep it really simple, sometimes it's just easiest just taking the little old lady approach, which a lot of my old retail customers, when I was a broker, they were little old ladies. And just the rule is, don't risk more than 5% of your portfolio on any one idea. Just don't do it. Or, whatever stake you have to work with. Just make sure that if you're wrong, you don't lose more than 5% of your stake. And if you take that kind of approach, then you don't really have to worry about getting stopped out. You're just going to risk to whatever the ultimate low in these things is. And if you're coming in and forcing yourself, to buy markets that are absolutely at the, just absolutely wiped out here, and they're starting to actually W, then odds are, kind of like what I showed you on that PSY trade, the odds are if you do actually come in and buy down here, you're going to see that pop back into previous highs, just even off of the bottom end of the range, and that should give you your doubles, which should give you the ability to sell half and basically create risk-free trades. And you don't even really care about technical analysis. It's more, and I was even talking to you about this earlier. Making money from investing, ironically enough, is more about appropriate money management than it is about any squiggly line that you will see on a price chart. And, whether it be fundamental analysis, they don't even like squiggly lines. They only want to see numbers on balance sheets and stuff. Whether it be quantitative analysis, things like sentiment. I mean, how does the expression go? Let's see if you've ever listened to me over the past year or so.
The sentiment.
Yeah, you should be buying when they're.
Oh, buy when it snows, sell when it goes.
No, not quite.
Or
Think sentiment, not seasonality.
okay.
Sentiment. So what does sentiment mean? That's how people are feeling, right?
Yeah.
Sentimental, right? So you should be buying when they're.
Selling.
Okay, so
Um,
usually when people are selling, how are they feeling?
buying when they're crying.
Hey, there you go.
Thank you, Constantine. I'm trying to thumb through some my notes and
All
didn't have that
right.
one.
And
How about
then
you?
on the other side of it, you should be selling when they're.
Dan says sell the flowers.
What? Sell what?
Sell when they're yelling.
Hey, there you go.
That makes sense. Buying when they're crying.
That's right. So
Selling.
that's all about quantitative analysis. So, you could be a fundamental guy where, you say the price to mine a Bitcoin right now is $20,000. So at $60,000, is the fundamentalist going to be saying buy Bitcoins?
Nope.
Right. So you could take that approach.
Yeah.
And if you, go in as a fundamentalist and you exercise appropriate money management, and let's say that you've done your fundamental analysis and you think that the cost of production for Bitcoin's at $20,000, and you go in and buy at $20,000, what do we say is the number that you can risk on your portfolio that you don't even really have to worry about it? Just don't break this number.
2-to-1 risk to reward.
Huh?
You need 2-to-1 risk to reward.
Yeah, well, that has nothing to do with risk management.
Oh, so that's what you were getting at for the number.
Brian's 2 rules of investing. And you really like that first rule of investing. I noticed that in you.
The little old lady,
Right.
or
So
sell
what's
with an
little old
algo.
lady? Thank you,
Sell with,
Austin.
so it's the sell with the algo, or sorry, trade with an
I don't know what
algo.
you're getting onto now. Anyway, the point
Sorry.
is that if you are a technician and you use squiggly lines, fine. Whatever it is, that gets you to act, and you know that 2/3 of the time when you buy when your squiggly lines look certain ways, great, go for it. But at the same time too, what's Brian's second rule of investing?
So the 2 rules are trade with an algorithmic approach, and then the little old lady, or never risk more than 5% of your hard-earned money on any one given idea.
Yeah, but and maybe it would behoove you to take our education program, Joe,
Yes, sir.
because there are many different ways to manage that 5% rule.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if you're a futures trader, a lot of futures traders won't even break like 1% per trade. But you're just never, ever, ever allowed to break that 5% rule. So that is done. Try not to intermingle little old lady. That happens to be
With it.
one way to manage that 5% rule. But the
Gotcha.
bottom line is you're never, ever allowed to risk more than 5% on
Okay.
any one single trade.
Gotcha.
So the point being, you could use TA to come up with your reasons, and that's squiggly lines. You could
Mhm.
use FA, cost of production. I love Bitcoin because it has a limited supply, right? And it's got built in price inflation, although they call it deflation, but I would actually call it built in inflation because the halving reward is cut in half every 4 years, right? So in essence, they've created this thing with Bitcoin that it's a rise only market. It has to rise over time. It has no choice. So I mean, talk about an absolutely set up guaranteed way to make money, eh? The problem here is don't chase. If you're gonna take the fundamental approach, then you have to buy value. How you figure out what value is, I'll leave that up to you. And then finally, there's quantitative analysis, and it's all about sentiment. And right now, I don't know. It's to me, I'm hearing one thing from the public, and it bothers me. So I'm hearing the public getting uber bullish. Uh, I hear one expression, and when I hear this expression, literally, it is the marker that we are near the end of the bull market. This time it's different.
It's different.
As soon as you start hearing people say that, then it doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to break tomorrow, but it definitely means you are not buying value. So, and as Joe so eloquently points out, I am a bit of a cheap ass when it comes to spending money.
I love it.
But I do love my ranch, so
There
I
you
think I'm
go.
still in Joe's good books.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'll tell you, man, I don't know what value is in Oregon, but that's some damn expensive pizza you guys have there.
It's true. It's true.
Ranch or no ranch. Anyway.
All right. Well, moving on to some more.
I mean,
Um,
I like the fact that this ape's got a big fat W working. So you are heading in the right direction. How you're going to manage your risk that you take on this, that's up to you.
mhm.
You want to go in heavy? Well, you got a W to work with. Maybe you do things like Wyckoff checks. I might even suggest, because Brian's a cheap ass, you might even like do number of purchases. You could on something like this maybe take a balanced approach and say, I'm just gonna go get some now. And remember Brian's two rules of investing. So we all know that what number, whatever relative it is to your portfolio, maybe you're working with $500, maybe you're working with $500,000. Percentages are percentages are percentages. So you might just go and buy some now and then maybe throw in a bid to add to the trade if we do like a reload zone pullback. That's not a bad strategy. Do a little bit of both. So you can see there is the cheap ass level, $1.30. But you might say, well, Brian, this thing, I'm so bullish of it, it's just gonna take off and not look back. Whoops. Oh, jeez. So, if that's the case, then, if you go and get some here, fine. Just don't break that 5% rule and give yourself the opportunity that if it does pull back into that reload zone, you can add to the trade. So that means maybe buy like 1 or 2% here and then maybe add another 1 or 2%. Then that maybe gives you an average like in there. And I do that a lot on these kind of names. So that would be the way that I would approach this. But hey, at least you got a W working, so that's good to see.
Love to see that. All right. So are we good on that one? Chugging along here. We got another one that's I see on the lower end of a trading range right now.
Yeah, a lot of names look like this. I told you, like we've waited about 2 years since Alan was on that Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
We've had to wait for like, a couple years for this market to get healthy again to be actually start seriously thinking about making money from trading. And now it's finally here. So we should see a lot of names that look like this.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Like Tomi, Tomi,
T
TommyNet
O
maybe.
M I.
And then let's see either on Gate or Hobie, or I guess it's HTX now. They changed the name.
There's
Yeah, that one.
HUBI or
Yeah.
Gate.
One of the two. Those have the
Alright.
most data on them. It's a newer coin.
Well, if it's new coin, it might mean it doesn't have that much data, and if that's the case, it might be tough to do TA.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's always a question of Coinigy is thinking. You can see my computer is slow. Where's the green button? Oh, looks like system
System.
status is
Yeah.
okay. Do do do. Sometimes if I load like a second tab, I can just flip back and forth from one to
Funny.
the other.
It's got to be Brave browser on this stuff.
Well, it also might be my country's dear leader. He's passing legislation to pretty much censor everything everybody is doing. I wouldn't be surprised if the censors are actually like literally intercepting all of my interneting. But anyway, that's Brian thinking awfully highly of himself, I suppose. Well, I mean that's a pretty good looking price chart. This would be basically, quite often we say look left.
Yep. Look left for visual
So
evidence of
where
the
did this thing
execution
bottom
stop.
previously? So somebody put a floor in off of that level, and look at what they're doing here now. So somebody thinks there's some sort of value on this name right down here. I might say that we'd like to see a W on the other side of this trend line to mark an official bottom. Well, looks like we're getting a W on the other side of that trend line, eh? We should, if this is a bottom, see at least 38.2 retracements. So what that's saying is probably a revisit of these highs. That's not unrealistic. This low did make a lower low, so I can't really use this bottom just yet. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can do is this W appears to be working, so we can do there to there. And we will go there, there, there. All right, so I think you're starting to see an image emerge. 38.2s, test of this horizontal support and resistance level. Right in there. And that is going to be an 877, a huge blow off top. So probably as long as this took to develop, you might even think of this as like a saucer bottom. So probably something like there. So come on. Oh, there we go. So it looks like the bottom's somewhere there. So something like that. Probably not a bad forecast. So what that means is up into 2.618, which is probably what it's doing right now. Then pull back, test the original breakout. That's that low. Then up into 4669s, which is going to test that high and this low and that low there. And probably that low as well. Right? That's probably an important level there. Notice also the moving averages right there too. Then a pullback, then a rally up, and this is what probably most of you want is that big sort of one directional move. So from here to here, and I think that would actually make perfect sense because usually the market likes to pull back around my birthday. If you actually go look at the Bitcoin chart last year,
Was
it
that
was,
May 11th?
yeah. So it's, pretty cliche. You had a pullback somewhere around the end of April, beginning of May. I don't know, somewhere around this area. So if we get a pullback, through this window here, then this becomes your summer rally window, which, crypto usually likes to have a pretty nice little rally there through the summer. Then we have a pullback into probably the fall, and then we probably finish the year on a pretty nice up note, something like that, especially into that election. If I don't know whether you remember, but the last time Trump won the election, the whole risk market just had a major orgy. They just went
Mm.
absolutely crazy bull. So I could very easily see if Trump wins again, um, some sort of huge rally, around. Maybe this is a little bit off. Maybe it's something like that,
November election
right?
time.
Then a nice move into the end of the year, and then a pullback to start next year, and hopefully you can kind of see how this pattern sort of works, right? It's the easy way. Another easy way for you to do it, to kind of see this, is for you to go into the drawing tools and select. Where is it? It's one of these. I think it's this one. Yeah, there it is. Bar pattern. What does this coming bull market look like? I bet you it's going to look almost exactly like this, but in opposite. So we'll go like that. And we'll flip that around. And let's see how close my prediction was. Oh, not bad. Sort of.
Yeah.
See what I kind of
Same
doing
concept. I
there?
see what you mean.
So that's kind
Yeah.
of what I think you could see happen here on the other side of this. And you'd be surprised at how often markets do this very symmetrical move. Um, I remember there was this one coin a couple cycles ago, IOC, and we tracked it, and it literally followed this projection almost absolutely perfectly. So anyway, I think that's not a bad forecast of what's going to happen here. If anything, somebody take a screenshot of this, especially the person who asked about this, and let's revisit this in a year and just see how close we are, because I think the coming bull will look something like that. I don't know where we want to put that. I'll put it in, if this is a TRIer. Well, we're not quite sure. You know what? I'll just send it to you,
Yeah.
and then if you want to include it in the feed, or a link to it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the image, but let's also do a
Send the
link.
link as
So then
well.
that way, if you want to link it, there's the image. But I wouldn't be surprised if that story plays out something along those lines. That would probably be pretty realistic. So we'll see what happens. But not a bad name. You're definitely thinking in the right direction here. Could this thing swim around here? I mean, you can see how back and forth all this is. We might just swim around here for the next 3 or 4 months here, just playing all down in here. So I wouldn't be in a huge hurry. But you can think, right? There's 2025. I don't think, I think that in comparison, I think you were asking earlier. I'll just quickly do this just so you can kind of see what I'm thinking here. Just do it. Is this stamp right here? Yeah. So, believe it or not, and actually, I was telling people this on the site today. Um, but believe it or not, I actually think that we are. I don't think we're in this cycle. I don't. The price action just has not corresponded to this cycle, but I definitely think that we're in this cycle.
Interesting.
So
Go into
this
that. I want to hear
happening.
what your thoughts are here.
So this happening was right here. July, yeah, right in there. And you notice, like, if you look at Bitcoin right now,
July, yeah, right there, July 9th.
July 9th. Okay, I was slightly off.
Uh,
2 days. God, how could
yeah,
I make such
I
a
was impressed that you
egregious
said
error?
that.
But notice the price action here, about a month or so ahead of the halving event. Look how price is just literally going straight up here. Well, I don't know. Is price going straight up here now? So,
I would
you can
think
see
so.
a
Yeah.
lot of similarities. So, if that's the case, and that's not really the point of what I'm trying to get to here. The point I'm trying to get to is Look at what the remainder of the year did. So here is 2014 or 16, beg your pardon. So I think we have to get through the halving event. We have to have this very normal, healthy correction. We probably have to come back down against the original bottom. I think that this dump here will dump right back into the levels that what's his name? Fink.
The BlackRock.
Anyway, middle of last summer, he's like, I
Yeah.
want my ETF, right? And he bottomed the market off of that, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're going to get a similar price pattern. And then the rest of the year, right, into the end of the year, that is this. And remember we had said, on that other coin that we looked at just a moment ago, was it this Tomy? Or
Hmm.
yeah. We said, you're probably going to get some sort of face rip if Trump wins. Well, notice, right, here's November, and here is into the end of the year. Is that going to be what crypto does into the end of the year? I could very easily see that. And then the beginning of 2025, we actually get that horrendous move higher that everybody's like, Bitcoin's going to go up to $100,000 by the end of the year. But I think it doesn't happen into the end of the year. I think it happens into early next year. But that's here nor there. But
Hmm.
the real thing that I'm trying to point out to you is what happens after in 2025, which I think is going to be like 2017. I mean, try and just keep this price action in mind here. Watch this. This is crazy. There's the end of the year. You can't even see the price action anymore, right? So
Yeah.
this is what I think 2025 is going to be, right? There's December 30th, 2017. That's what I think 2025 is going to be. So are you ready?
Yeah. It's funny, like right around then was when I was starting with Coinigy.
Well, and that's the irony of it all is that this next generation, this is where the public will come in. And the
Yeah.
sad thing is the public will be buying our bags when we're selling at quadruples and quintuples and 10x. And remember that other coin we looked at
Sorry.
earlier that was like going to be 3000x or whatever from where
Yeah.
we are right now, right? That's
Sorry.
that's exactly what's coming down the pike. And what I affectionately said on Twitter today is in the previous cycle, in this cycle, because DeFi didn't really exist through this cycle,
Yeah.
but DeFi did exist through this last cycle. And so I think it's going to be very similar where, the halving event here was this event. And of course, same sort of logic. Where does the price go? Well, this is all this DeFi world, all this huge move up here. And this, sadly, this last part here, this is where the public comes in and they get suckered, right? That Allen guys on Saturday Night Live, not telling anybody don't buy Doge at 75 cents because you're walking into a trap. He should have, but does that guy have a conscience? I'll leave that up to you. Um, Half of the reason why I do these videos is because I'm trying to convey to the public that we actually have people who know how to play this game and understand capitalism. They have a moral responsibility to look after their fellow man. I mean, that's half of why I'm trying to teach you this stuff here, Joe. It's
Yes, sir.
just these other humans. I was saying this the other day. Is there anybody else on the interneting that does what I do? Have you ever heard of anybody on the internet that does what I do?
No.
Just, it doesn't exist. I'm the only fucking human doing this. I must be fucking insane. It doesn't make any sense. I'm the only guy. And actually, I even remember my old prop firm guys. They got all angry at me for doing this. Yeah, quit changing the fucking world and get back to trading, Beamish. Anyway, so the point of the matter here is through this part of the market cycle, we had a guy on the site and affectionately, through this window here, right? So happenings here, there's to the end of the year, there's to like most of the following year. This particular person, he was called because he did a lot of DeFi. And of course, the DeFi names all went crazy. But he called himself Farmer Dave. And I don't know where Farmer Dave is in this world, but he made so much bloody money because Farmer Dave, who collected the airdrops and was a really good DeFi citizen and staking his coins and the whole damn thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the market went into this phase, he became Astronaut Dave.
In space now.
Astro. Oh, Jesus. What's going on here? Anyway. Uh, maybe Astronaut Dave doesn't want me. I sure hope Astronaut Dave isn't on the other side. Maybe he's talking to me from the other side. Is that how you spell astronaut? Anyway. So he became Astronaut Dave when the market went absolutely stupid through this phase up here. And I think exactly the same thing's going to happen here. So this should be a really, really good lesson for you as a new person to trading. To notice the difference in the tone of the market. I think right now we are in the Farmer Dave phase of crypto.
Okay.
Which means, I mean, did you get any of that Juniper airdrop?
I did not.
Yeah, we
I
should have
got the
got you some
when
of that.
airdrop. I didn't
Oh,
see the
yeah, okay,
June.
that's the when. Yep, that's it. I got a big whack of
Oh,
that
okay.
too.
Then yes.
So that's good. But in and actually, TRI CTO Sjord on a weekly basis, although I talked his ear off, he wasn't able to do it this past week. But basically, every single week, he talks about all the different airdrops and what wallets to set up and what coins to stake where on the site. I mean, it's a fantastic sales pitch if you do want to be like a Farmer Dave now and go and get all of these crazy ass free coins that they're airdropping and stuff. And, get all the financing deals and stuff in place. Because when we go into Astronaut Dave phase, uh, the entire game changes. All the stuff that you were farming, it all starts going absolutely crazy, and that's where millionaires are made. And as I had said, like we have a very realistic cycle window here. I think, come on, I think into 2000, the end of 2025, the beginning of God, I don't know how to move this chart over here, Joe. Can I do that? Oh, that's going to take forever. Come
What's your
on. Are you going to
drawing?
work for me here? No, it just won't get off of that darn thing. Okay, there we go. Now are you going to work? There we go. So, over this coming year, and this is at the end of the election. So, over the coming year, right, following the halvening event and all through the spring and then through the crypto summer and all that, that's what this phase is. This is the Farmer Dave phase. What you need to do if you really want life-changing events is you want to get yourself set up so that you've got all these free positions, you've got the airdrops, you got the wallets, and then when the market goes into Astronaut Dave phase, you're just riding the wave. So, this is we had the get your shit together part of the
Yeah.
market. We're transitioning through this. We're now coming into the halvening event. The bull market is now fully underway. And anybody that saw the daily brief that I did today, but TRIers are banging out more doubles than I've ever seen. It's
Crazy.
absolutely insane how crazy it's getting around the site. So the bull is underway. We are now what I would consider we're in that Farmer Dave phase. So if you want to be life-changing events, and what you have to do is by the middle to the end of 2025, we actually have to start going into liquidation mode and actually taking profits, going and buying properties, going and buying big gold bars, whatever, because this is venture capital, and what goes up often comes down. And if I don't know whether you've heard me say this before, but 2027, 2028 could be really, really ugly years. So my hunch is that the whole venture cap market's going to come right back down onto its knees. And then we have to go through another massive hyperinflationary phase. And frankly speaking, I don't really want to be in the market for that. I want to make my money here, and I want to officially go and retire into the end of 2025, beginning of 2026. So there's a public notice to all of you that I will probably recede into the background and officially retire at the end of this coming cycle. But we should all be so stinking rich by the end of this cycle that, thinking about being publicly active. Like I said, where's that crypto Cobain guy? That guy's
Yeah.
made so much money in this space. He doesn't even need to be active publicly. You know,
Yeah. Adam, welcome to the party. There he is.
there's
So,
Adam. Adam's got
and
his next door neighbors, Jimmy and Liz, that he has to look out for. He is officially has them. Kobe never stopped, so he's still working away. I haven't really heard too much about him. We were joking about Kobe earlier on in the broadcast. Were
yeah,
we recording when we made those jokes? I don't know
yeah.
whether we were or not. Yeah.
The Kobe.
Yeah, maybe do yourself a favor and look into a guy named Crypto Cobain.
Yeah, Kobe.
And I think last cycle he changed his name. He got rid of the Crypto Cobain
Yeah, it's just Kobe.
monitor and he just calls himself Kobe now.
He's got a podcast
Oh, I'm sure he has.
called
Yeah,
Only Up. Oh,
yeah.
he was co-hosting an episode of it called Only Up.
All right, well that makes sense. All right,
All right. Well, I
totally
see
distracted.
Constantine
Sorry, go
gave
ahead.
us one.
This is a
Uh
good looking, this little Tommy. That's a good
yeah,
looking little name you got there. There's nothing wrong with that idea at all.
good stuff. Constantine in the chat says ICX icon. So it's
I see X. Where do
I'd
we want
say
to look at
let's
this?
maybe try Binance to start. I'm looking, it's got the
Binance
most volume by like 5x. Uh
versus Tether.
USDT. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've probably looked at this once or twice before, eh?
Yeah, we looked at this one, I guess.
I
It
mean,
sounded familiar.
you can see where the W's ultimately came in.
Yeah.
All right, off 88.6. Then interesting, another W came in here off 78.6. My hunch is if we zoom out, yep. I mean, this thing's got a lot of. The irony of it all is that when the markets actually look like this job's actually pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. You want to go ahead and nanny nibble. That's fine. Keep it simple. Don't have to overthink this. I
Yeah.
mean, as I said, when I first started these videos, when I sort of re-got them going at the end of the last cycle, right? 21, 22, all these charts look like this. And the guy that I was doing the videos was like, Brian, all I'm hearing you say is this thing's got to come all the way back down to the bottom. So why even bother doing this? I mean, I love you dearly, but meeting with you every week and hearing that nothing's a good buy right now, it's getting kind of boring. And that was a good decision. The exact opposite case, though. This thing's Wing out, it's basing out. Yeah, we could probably look at all the momentum indicators. They're all starting to point back up again. So, hey, if anything, you can see exactly where the bull came back. OBV is a great tool to
Yeah.
measure that.
That's crazy.
So, my hunch here is that whatever fundamentally happened right here, this sort of like marked the beginning of the new phase here. Beautiful
Change
W's. Money
size.
continues to pour into this. We're a million miles away from the top end of the range. The only thing I would say with something like this is you can see the near term trend down has been broken. But it looks to me like this thing's probably going to run into a bit of trouble. Oh, interesting. So I'd have to like really zoom in and make sure this is absolutely correct. Yeah, that's probably more correct. Something along those lines there. Eh?
Okay.
So this thing's probably going to run into a huge sort of brick wall of resistance right against that high and sort of in that window right in there. But from 25 cents, that's well over $1. So could you get a double off 50, 60, 70 cents to sell half on a double and get that risk-free trade? I think so. It's not unrealistic. If you wanted to try and, again, this might be the same thing as we said before. Because these charts are looking as bottomy as they are, I mean, you can clearly see where the reload zone is.
Hmm.
You want to just go and just nibble a little bit here because I don't have any of this on the books. And then what I'll do is I'll just draw reload zones and then work another bid um, down at that level to add to the trade should the market come back. Notice 78.6, 61.8. Did I get that right? Yep. So, what a big surprise. It's probably going to be, you could even do things like a trend line off of these lows. And just something simple like that. And notice, there is 78.6, Brian's favorite fib. Maybe just like, go and grab 1% here now, then throw in a bid to grab another 1%. And so what ends up happening, maybe if it W's, you add another 1% kind of idea, and you end up just getting an average cost somewhere in this area. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So, just really simple. We should think 38.2s. You could do reload zones for where to short. If you're thinking along those lines, you could also do like a fog and bomb off of this bottom to try and think about where tops could come in. So we can go like so. So what a big surprise. 2.618 is right up in that area. So if we do break out through this and this big honkin' W confirms, then away you go. There's reload short zones. There's a bunch of guys trapped on the couch. I suppose there's a bunch of guys trapped on the couch way up there. Interesting how that's into that 4669 area. But I think, and to be precise, you probably really want to zoom in on this and really make sure this is solid. But I do think that when the market runs up into this particular resistance line, wherever this is, actually you might even do two of them. You could do one there and you could do one there. And I would say that triangle is actually your resistance window. So, the question here is if you do sneak your way in here at this 20-cent area, can you get that double off on this pop? That's like 70 cents. So I think you could. And, maybe it's going to take like a year or two to play with these trend lines. But this thing isn't really a rip roaring bull and the sky's the limit kind of idea until we actually go and W out on the other side of this trend line now. So it's not a rip roaring bull, but because the range is so huge, you could very easily get a double or a triple off, no problem, and get that
Yeah.
risk free trade on the books, which of course is our bread and butter. Right? The number one job of all traders, the number one job is to get that free look. That's what your job is as a trader. Is
Hmm.
just make a bit of money to pay the bills, banging out doubles, whatever the hell you want to do, bang out 2.618s, 2 to 1s, 3 to 1s, whatever. But just try and get that free look because it's the free look that will make you a fortune.
That makes sense.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I hope everyone's paying attention to it. Risk-free money. You're
you
playing with
know,
house money at that point.
Here was a really good example I told you about one that what the hell was that damn fucking symbol?
I think I am max maybe. I was on my phone trying. Oh no, there was one that I had like a bunch of stink bids open, but now I see it's gone up.
It
What
was
is it?
this Verge. It was the very first coin that I
Verge.
told you
Okay.
about, and it put in a
Yep.
W right off the bat, like the very first show that we did. And I was like, here's a really good example. You could just buy the W. Let some
Yeah.
go at 2 to 1 risk reward and just see where the hell the market takes you following. And it's
Yep.
already made that 2 to 1 move.
It has.
Um, yeah, there it is there. So I don't know what the hell this thing does. This is a pretty good example of a trader's life. Uh, when we first got together, it was just sort of like, well, you know what? Let's buy this W and risk. And look how close it came to breaking that low, but it never did.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why you have to have your stops right below these lows. You can let this guy, whoever put that bottom in, defend your trade. And there's 2 to 1. All right. Look at that. Do you think there were a few people that had orders working at 2 to 1 that stopped that bull market in its tracks?
Probably.
It's probably a bunch of TRIers. And then
Yeah.
also, this is such a fantastic example of, candle body highs for trade location. Look how the market
Yeah.
stopped right at that level. Absolutely textbook. So now you let some go at the 2 to 1. Now you have your free look. Whether it's you sold half on a double and got your original money back, or you just took the 2 to 1 and maybe you've got a little bit left on the books as a free trade, move your stop to scratch. Notice almost got stopped out, but didn't quite. Still in the trade, and who knows what the hell that's going to happen here. You just don't know. So anyway,
Yeah.
I do remember that this was the very first name that I threw at you and said, we buy these W's and we risk to break some new lows. And what a really good example of that.
Adam says Chico Crypto has nice FA story on CTSI, which has a monthly W. Take a look at that one.
CTSI.
Yep. It is Cartesi.
Where do we want to look at this?
Either Binance or Coinbase both have some pretty good volume. So this one is an app-specific rollup protocol with a virtual machine that runs Linux distributions, creating a richer and broader design space for dApp developers.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
well, yep. You can see the base. Probably, kind of like what we talked about earlier. This thing's really more of a trading range. So when we get up into this area, that'll be a major brick wall. There's a whole bunch of trap bulls all up in this
yeah,
wick right up
people
there,
sleeping
right?
on the couch. That's a
Yeah, and then candle body highs for trade location. Probably now candle body highs for trade location. Those are probably two important levels to keep an eye on. If we did like reload zones, my hunch is that's probably a reload zone of that range. So there to there, and then we go boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So, what a surprise. 78.6. But, the question here is this is what, 30 cents, 37 cents, and those numbers are $1.30, $1.40.
get
So,
doubles.
could you get your double off here? Probably. The knee jerk, sort of keep it simple, stupid, sort of dead cat bounce levels would be, of course, our Collins pump chaser and dump chaser zone kind of idea. So this is probably where she's going to top out in the short term. Something in that window there. And probably also, too, if we did like a fog and bomb off of that bottom there.
Yep.
2.618. Look how that lines up so nicely with that level, eh? And then our 4669 lines up with those levels up top. I suppose we could leave this on here. So 4669 is going to basically be right in the middle of that reload short zone. 2.618 is going to be right in the middle of Colin and the dump chasers. And you can even see this one candle. You can imagine these poor kids that there was some sort of hype that this was the bottom. We're going straight up here. And then the market just crapped out, opened up, and just puked straight out. And you know that there's a whole bunch of kids that are trapped right in that wick right in there. So that's, if we do get back to that level, there's probably going to be a lot of sellers that are just going to be like, oh, just get me the hell out of here. So, can I come in and buy this right here? Yeah. We've actually said this a couple times tonight, and I think this would also be another good example. The fact that this low here is actually relatively close to that high. Okay, I mean, if you're like that Chico crypto's so fucking hot, anything that he says, I've gotta go and buy some because he's so awesome. All right, fine. And actually, for the record, I have now driven through Chico, California. So on my way back, I literally drove from LA to Sacramento. That was like 7, 8 hours straight. Then I went Sacramento all the way to where did I
Grants
stay? I
Pass.
slept in Grants Pass, Oregon, at just an absolute. I mean, if anything, I've actually seen how a lot of Americans have to live now. People like literally live in motels. It's really kind of sad, the state of our society. Anyway,
Yeah.
I tried to save a couple bucks, so I stayed at a total flea bag hotel in Grants Pass. That was an interesting adventure. But anyway, so I went from Sacramento to Grants Pass. That was a good 6, 8 hours. And then I went Grants Pass because somebody didn't want to get together with me.
Like,
So I
could
just
have been
went
me.
straight from Grants Pass right back to Vancouver. And that was a good fucking that was
A
like
day.
9 hours of driving. Oh my goodness.
Lots
Anyway,
of coffee.
so point of the matter here is I've actually now been through Chico. I could say I've actually been there. So it's a cute little town. It's a nice place.
Should hit
Um,
up Tyler.
so I suppose if you were like, I really love this name and I love how, Tyler's just uber bullish of this and we're all going to get rich. Okay, fine. This is where you can think that little old lady kind of strategy. So I'm not going to risk more than 5% of my stake or what I've got to work with. So I'll go and nibble here. But I think it behooves you, and this is the way I would approach this,
Hmm.
is, what is a reload zone off of that range? So if we flip that around, and you draw something like a really simple trend line, like so. What a big surprise. Again, where's Brian's birthday? Usually that Beamish guy shits all over the market. So, excuse my French. So, maybe some sort of dump into May, June, into reload zones. Maybe sprinkle some bids in that area. And also, too, you can see this is also an original double bottom level A. Down, up, down, breakout. So that's a pretty good level. This tail right here, that's probably a great place to work some bids. There's trap bears in there. They would love to get out of those shorts. And actually, it looks like there's even a bit of a price gap right in there, right? Mind you, that might just be maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Anyway, so I would I actually wouldn't really mind doing both of this. Like I've got one portfolio that's it's about 20, 30,000 bucks that I'm doing in crypto just for fun. And this would be a good example where, maybe I'm gonna say, 5% of my portfolio there would be $1,000. So maybe I'll go and buy like say, I don't know, 250 bucks just right now, just so I have some of Tyler's name on the books. And if of course the thing just goes crazy from here, great. At least I got some on the books. Then throw another bid in for 250 bucks down at the original breakout level, the original double bottom, 78.6, shark level, trend line, whatever you want to call it. And then maybe keep another, so that's about half of our potential powder that we could spend, right? Because we said we could spend $1,000.
Mhm.
So maybe down the road, come on. So maybe down the road, if we can get some sort of W to come in, maybe we add to the position. Terrible W, but nonetheless, you get the idea. We can add another 1% over here. So, that gives you, 3/4 of your purchase. Maybe there'll be one more purchase down the road that we can always add, but that would be the way that I would like to sort of slowly enter a position like this. And you looked at that Tomy earlier. It's the same logic. What was the other one? We had another one that was kind of the same thing. All of them,
PSY.
this is the way that I would approach. And I think for the public, this is probably a good way to approach this market. If you hear it out and you kind of like what you hear, fine, just go grab a little bit. Then draw your reload zones, add on dips into reload zones, and then add, we haven't even talked indicator confirmation or stuff. But if we get it down through here, through the seasonal correctional window, maybe this doesn't take all the way to here. Maybe it comes in here, whatever. And you start getting your indicators pointing back up and you start getting W's in price, then you go and add the third lot. That's the way that I would approach it.
Beautiful.
All right. What do you think?
That was fantastic.
Oh,
I
good.
loved it.
Oh.
Thank you, Adam, for sending that one over. Um, there was one that also someone said on Twitter. It was VMPX.
VMPX.
So let's see on Gate again. Let's just take a look there.
We can look at it versus Turkish lira.
The reason, yeah, Gate's not allowed in the US, and that makes a little more sense.
Really?
Yeah, I used to have a Gate account and then got booted off of it. And then I actually was just looking into it. Now they're launching a Gate US specifically for US customers, but
That
it's
might
not.
mean, and I mean, I suppose all of them have tried to do this, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, like Binance US, FTX,
Mm.
FTX US, all of those. I don't know why it's not, but
Right. Interesting that this thing only is listed on 3 exchanges. What's this Uni? Is that Uniswap? So it's like
yeah,
DeFi as
Uniswap
well.
V2. So that's just
So
for charting.
that's not actually the DeFi.
It is DeFi, but it's for charting.
Uh,
Because they like couldn't get a connection for their to their APIs.
that says that the system is connected, right? With that
Yeah,
green
it
light on.
does.
Doesn't this? I
Crash that
guess
page.
the browsers now tell you. Oh, look at that! Yeah, high memory usage. So this thing's using 2 GB of memory right now. Remarkable. Just this is a memory hog. Let's see what this tab's using. This tab's using 1.1 gigabytes. Wow, that sure is a hell of a drain. Most of these pages I noticed, and actually this is something that Brave's doing right now. Like, see, they're just having this page up. Even this alone's using 66 megabytes of fucking memory. That's ridiculous. So, but this right now, I can
Yeah,
see why it's so slow. 2 gigs. That's a lot of memory.
yeah.
Just for one tab. Come on, you. You can do it. Yeah, we'll have a race. Let's see if we can. I mean, I have a lot of RAM too. Specifically, I built this computer to have just a ridiculous amount of RAM. I think I even remember when we did build it, the guy was like, "Why the hell do you want so much RAM?" And Julian's like, He likes to have like 100 tabs open, and the guy's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." All right, let's see what we got here. I used to work with a guy who's like, really the only indicator I ever need is OBV. And if this OBV is trending higher, this is a no-brainer. So somebody's accumulating this thing. I don't know what the fundamental is. BMPX. This is what we're
Let's
supposed to be looking
see.
at here.
It's just says it's a BRC20 meme token.
Well, somebody was loading up on these memes.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't really understand what the value proposition of this stuff is. But, clearly there's price momentum. Holy Jesus, look at that. Over on Polo, I wonder if that's the same thing. Anyway.
Same price.
Oh, goodness, my ear is just killing me. All right. So, there's a W. W's are W's are W's. Uh,
Look at that M.
well, yeah, I suppose that was a bad sign there, eh? I had to go into the pooper for a while. Bit of a W that came in there, so they worked it out. Then they brought it right back down against the bottom again. So, they often say this is something that I don't like is, wicks and tails like to be eaten, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
technically right there is the bottom of the market. So, caveat emptor. Just understand what you're getting involved in here.
Yeah.
If you can't figure out what value is, that's half the reason why I like the whole POW story, is you can actually figure out what value is on these things. POS and these NFTs and stuff like this, I'm not quite sure how you figure out what value is here. I don't even think I can even really draw trend lines. I might even have to go something like that. It's a trend line. It's kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
Is that a full W on the other side of this trend line? Yeah, maybe.
Um,
Yeah, the problem with this is you're kind of floating out here though, right? Because yeah, that's probably where's the low there? Is that it? Maybe that's low's lower. Anyway, that's probably your floor here. And when you see this can get really dangerous because if we lose these lows, I mean, technically, there's the bottom all the way down there. So, yeah, this isn't something I like to see. Having said that, could this work? Sure. I mean, W's are W's are W's. So, you want to risk to a break of this level here, understanding there's a very realistic possibility they rip it all the way down here and the market is completely manipulated and then it comes screaming right back up and then you start cursing me in your sleep because I got you to exit because this thing pulled out and in just one candle it goes zing zing right back up. That could very easily be. So this is probably a good example of one that I would say, maybe we approach this as that Nanny Nibbles kind of approach. You really like the story, you like the meme or whatever it is about this. Okay, great, go and buy a little bit. But just understand this is venture capital, so this is the kind of volatility that you're in. Maybe you go and buy a little bit of this and you say, look at Brian, if they pull this big FU, I'm going
mhm.
to wait patiently for the FU candle. And if I see this thing absolutely puking out and coming and tagging this trend line from the other side, then I'll go and buy some more. Well, that's not a bad idea. Having said that, does this thing like jump out at me as like the next best thing since sliced bread?
No.
Nah. I mean, what scares me with a name like this is I wouldn't be surprised if that is also a primary trend line, which kind of paints a
Scary.
price objective somewhere down in here, right?
Yeah.
So I could very easily see that. And what also would be worrisome is if they break this low, then technically this is a new M. And it's big, ugly, and messy.
Don't like that.
Yeah. So this probably isn't something that I'd be too excited about. Having said that, if you're like, all right, I've heard this spiel, Brian, but I do like W's and I am willing to risk this W, and if it breaks here, I'll just get the fuck out. Okay, there is a W. So I think the trade, if you're going to take it, is to buy the W and risk to a break of these lows. And at 2 to 1, you want to pay yourself. So that's up in that area there, which might even be like 61.8, maybe even a 50% of this range. Let's see. So there, all the way up to here. And 50% level. Yeah. So 2.45 to 1. I wouldn't fault you for taking that, but just understand this is venture cap. There could be some effery here. I would say, probably the odds of this working, because it's venture cap, the odds of them running these lows, if the crypto market has to take a bit of a pause, I'd say are probably like literally a coin toss 50-50. So,
Yeah.
caveat emptor. This is
Yeah.
actually one reason why I love the little old lady approach. All right. If you're like, well, Brian, I really like this name. I just want to force myself to come in and nanny nibble, and I don't really care what's going to happen. I just want to have some on the books. Well, we are at or below reload zones. That is Brian's 78.6. So if you want to go and nanny nibble, understanding that it could jump all over here over the next little while, I'd be okay with that. But those are for the people that really take very, very low risk, right? Don't bet a lot of money, please. You're just going to get yourself into trouble.
Understandable. Thank you for that. It's ready. 6:45. Flew by today.
Yeah.
Well,
What are some of the names that you've been interested in? And let's see how they've done. Because I remember I asked you to put together a list of
yeah.
a half a dozen names that you
So
like
actually,
fundamentally.
one that I did like was FTM that we had talked about. We've looked at that,
FTM.
and it actually just broke through a W, uh, not too just like a couple days ago, and it's
Woo! Wow, look at that, eh?
so
Boom. Looks like there was a W way over here.
yep.
So that's probably where you wanted to be long.
I got in it. I was at 18 cents, so I've like banged them out
Nice. Wow.
since.
Yep. Oh, really nice right against these lows. That's pretty solid.
And
So
a
you should be sitting on a free position there. And look at the size of this
couple.
W, eh? You want something, yeah, maybe put a note in your records. Beamish says it's going to. Uh, there you go. There's a target for you. $1.43. And it must have been a lot higher too to have the moving
Yeah,
average like this. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I really like that. 242. So you said you're long from 12,
18.
18. All right. So you can kind of see there is trendline resistance. All right. So this is all open air up here. Yeah, you should do really, really well on this one. That's good.
What about for getting reinvested too? I mean, I still have a fair chunk. That was like my big one from the start, but
Well, that's good. Everybody's got to have a big one, right?
yes, sir. But,
Um,
over my head.
I like that. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's gonna be like, geez, that's gonna be 10x for you. Maybe even higher than that, eh? What did you say you're long from?
18.
18. Yeah. So, into a $2. That's probably where it's gonna run into resistance. And if anything, what you want to do, notice that this big run up here, and then it slowly bleeds out and comes right back to the bottom. So we've got this little double bottom here. So my hunch is fog and bombs off of that, 2.618. Yeah, so rally up here and see if you can sell half on a double. That would be 93 cents. That would be well more than a double.
Yes, sir.
If you haven't already sold half on a double, maybe
I
that's
have.
going to be like a quadruple. Who knows? Notice that this 2.618 and the 4669 line up nicely against this high and that low there. So that's probably your ultimate, like maybe through the summer. So if you
Mhm.
actually got like a nice little pop and then a pullback into Brian's birthday, which I think would make perfect sense, back to sort of trend line support, that might actually be a really good reload opportunity for you right there. So let's keep an eye out for that going forward.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then I also had AVAX was one.
Uh, I'll give you this link whether we use it or not. I'll leave it up to
Yeah.
you. Anyway, we should probably save that. In fact, actually, maybe even create a spreadsheet. Or, whoa, isn't that
I sh
weird? That did that, eh? Let's try that again. Nope, that's not what I want. Uh, Copy a link. Let's see if this will work this time. There you go. All right. AVAX, what's the symbol there? Is that Cosmos?
AVAX.
AVAX.
I don't know
Where are
exactly.
you
That was
doing
like
this one?
mid-November that I was in.
Where are you doing this? Coinbase
On Coinbase.
versus Tether. And you bought in November, you said? There's a
Yeah,
pretty little W
on
there,
that
right?
run up once that was so it's probably like 15th of around there is
Alright.
after that.
There's the W.
Yeah. It was
So November
like
15th
15th-ish.
is, oh, wow, you
Yes.
chased a bit, eh? All the way up in here. Oh,
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, right around
well.
there.
Lucky for you, right? This was your value trade.
Yeah.
And
I don't
then
know if that was
this
the
is your
exact day, but it
momentum
was
trade.
a little bit. But I've gotten a couple
So,
doubles off there.
yeah, so we could go. Hmm. All right, so your momentum trade looks something like there to there and there to there. And sometimes these do alt ABCDs, which means they actually go beyond 100%. So sometimes they go up to 1.618 or 1.272s. Let's try that again. 1.618, 272. What did I do wrong there? Oh, gotta reverse this. There we go. So, and actually, I often tell people if you get up into this 1.618, this is
Uh,
usually a no-brainer short level. So, looks like actually this is 3 bar for. Oh, yeah, actually, look at that. Son of a gun. This is actually an inside bar failure. So,
okay.
that right there is a sell signal right there. And notice that's pretty close to that 1.618. So, had you blindly hit that, you would have been like, oh, look how smart I am. And oh, maybe I'm not so smart. Then you actually get the actual inside bar failure. Okay, I'm smarty pants. So, but anyway, point of the matter here is if you ever do this study, this AB equals CD, the bot setup, that, trend continuation trade I talk about on the site. It's A to B, C to D. And if you throw this on and the market goes beyond the bought profit taking levels, which would be 100%, odds are it'll go to 1.272. And if it ever does go to 1.618, this is like a no-brainer topping level. So
Okay.
it took actually a couple steps. And what do you think about, there was a bear div on that move up top there? I bet there
Probably pretty
was.
high.
Yeah, you can see MACD, wicked
Yep.
bear div. RSI, look at that bear div. Holy crap. And of course, Willie stupidly overbought. So, all the writing was on the walls that this thing was exhausted, and sure enough, it had to come back down. Now, this actually looks like an inverted head and shoulders here. So, I'm not quite sure if we use that one. That might be the level. So, we would go. This is a tough one. Well, I'll just keep it simple. Hmm. Usually they don't like the right shoulder to be lower than the left shoulder, so I don't know whether that's accurate or not. But
Okay.
if we just, kind of just work with this, I think you can say A, B, C, D. So it looks like this thing wants to push back up. Did we actually go through this low? We might have, though. Yeah, we did. So I don't know whether this is a head and shoulders or not. Anyway, Brian just having fun with squiggly
Yeah.
lines. Um, One low, two lows, three lows, four lows. This third low or this fourth low was taken out, so four again. We could think bot, which would be an absolutely huge move. So that's there to there. And where did I put those? Over here, right? So did we do
Yeah.
33? Did we go beyond 66? We did do 33. We did not go beyond 66. Well, that means that we can go all the way up here. And we will put on 50%. And we'll change this to 25 just to get the bot level. And we got 66 on there. And then we'll do also some alt levels in case this thing goes crazy. So reverse that. And there you go. So 25, the entry of this bot is basically that breakout low, one low, two lows, three lows. That works. Why we use the three lows. Notice they did wash this low. What would we call this particular low? If we, I don't know whether you know the answer to this or not. Like if we said, well, maybe this is a big W like this. So I'm going to buy here and I'm going to risk to there. What would we call this level right here?
That's a shot. I don't know, but I'm taking a shot in the dark as a. No, actually, no, that's not it. No,
We
what is
call
it?
it the noob stop. Why?
Yeah.
Because most
Oh,
noobs do put their stop right here. But this is why you have to risk against the third previous low. You
okay.
let the market say, you know what, they're going to fuck the public. So let's let them do that. But
Stomp them
this is
out.
not where we're going to declare defeat. We're actually going to count backwards. One, two, three. And really, I wouldn't have a problem if you put your stop here. But according to the bot, if you did buy that structural bottom, you'd have your stop way down here. So all of this nonsense, you'd go, so what? It's really nothing big. It's what markets just do. So they went after the noobs, they washed them out, and you can see they're starting to try and take this thing back up to new highs. So the question is, where are they going to take this thing? And you're long a bucket load of this, so you want the moon, right? Moon, moon, moon.
I'd love it.
Looks like $68 is a near-term target. That would be your AB equals CD. But they might take it as high as 80 and they might even take it as high as 95. And now this is interesting. Look left. If this thing
Yeah.
really starts to get a head of steam behind it, Can you see that the next major resistance line level, where are those guys sleeping on the
100.
couch that desperately want to get out? Well, they're sitting right there. So what
Yeah.
a coincidence. That's going to be right up in that 1.618 area. Now we could also do like a Foggenbaum. That's a lower low though, isn't it? So that's not really going to work. You could probably do a Foggenbaum off of here up to here. And so, I'll go that. 2.618 lines up
Ooh.
nicely up in there. So, I'd say odds are your name has a date with somewhere around $90 a coin on this thing before the end of this rally is done. So that should put a smile on your face.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day. Awesome. Well, Brian, it's we're at the top of the hour here.
All right.
How we feeling? Besides,
Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, I got a doctor's appointment on Friday, so hopefully, finally, I'll have a doctor look at this. But
yeah,
man, when you get ear problems, it's like your balance gets screwed up and
everything.
equilibrium, and I can even hear it in my voice. So anyway, I mean, I hope I came across as good value here for you
You
guys tonight,
did.
and you feel as though I'm making a positive difference in your guys' life.
You definitely are. I'm sure I speak for everyone here. We all appreciate you and all of your hard work, and I wish you the best with your doctor's appointment, and hope that you start feeling better in no time.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All
Also,
right. Well,
didn't you say did you say after I visited you came down sick or before I
it
visited?
was right as you were coming back into town
Oh
that
yeah.
Friday, Saturday, I
Uh,
was got incredibly sick and I felt awful.
you had like something like five different papers that were due all at the same
I
time.
think that probably played into me getting sick from me doing all my up late doing homework and stuff after working a full day, but uh lack of sleep there. But yeah, that
Did
had a busy week last week
did you
and
get all the papers done?
I did and the
Okay.
project. So yeah, we're in there, but still now I got class next weekend that even more homework. So, but it's the end of the term, so we're wrapping it up.
All right.
All right,
Well,
thank you again, Brian,
thank you,
and
sir.
thank you everyone for tuning in. And best of luck with Liam tomorrow.
Thank
PMA
you,
for the
sir.
win,
Appreciate it.
Brian.
All the best to Makasta. Is Makasta there?
Not in the room now. The pup's sleeping on the couch.
Okay. Anyway, that dog is a character. I'll tell you that much. Lots
Yes,
of fun.
sir, he is.
All the best to the wife, and go and have a ranch on Brian.
Yes, sir. Will do. Take care and see you guys next time.
All
Thank you.
right. Have a great day. PMA for the win. Bye for now.
Stream. There we go.